So hi everyone, Tanguy here to talk with you for this Brighton SEO session. This demo will be how to use data for SEO, how to leverage the power of technical SEO with data science. So I'm Tanguy, solution evangelist at OnCrawl. I'm the co-founder of the company. You will find my personal information below. If you want to get in touch, feel free to do it. It's always a pleasure. So basically, OnCrawl is a solution made of an SEO crawler, a log analyzer, a data cube, and a labs platform allowing you to leverage machine learning with OnCrawl. If you want to give it a try, feel free to do it. And the plan for the demonstration today will be made of first a little introduction of data science meeting search engine optimization, how data science can be involved at the different step of understanding textual content. We will then have a little demonstration regarding how to solve content issue using data science. More specifically, we will try to identify pages with content issue and see how machine learning techniques such as the one built on top of GPT-3 can be used to fill in the blanks of your content issues. And then we will see how the process can be scaled if it should be. And at the very end, we will have an opening of mind to see what could be the next step based on what we have discovered together. So, data science and SEO, actually, I never feel comfortable speaking in terms of search engine optimization. I prefer to speak in terms of user experience optimization. As we all know, it's all about the user and providing convenient user experience. And this is what search engine are trying to do with their users. So when you have that in mind, you have already one key to success. Actually, natural language understanding has always been involved in search engine technologies, be it in the early 2000s and nowadays it's even more true, of course. It can be involved at different steps of the search journey. So the search journey usually begins with the expression of a search query. And here you will want, as a search engine, to be able to identify the intent of the user, what he's looking for, is he looking for answer, or things like that. And if there are specific items in the search query, to help driving toward the good results. So basically the technologies here involved include being able to resolve polysemy, understanding the different meanings of the same words in a search query, identify ambiguous formulation of search queries and try to resolve them upfront, and identify typographic errors that are often used by users, especially on a mobile device. Next, once you have understood what the user is looking for, it's time to find the correct answer for them and providing them with search engine result pages with a compilation of good to excellent results. And this again involves the ability for a search engine to understand the content found in pages. So here, as a search engine, you will have the necessity to be able to classify information found on website, to identify if opinions are expressed at some point and if the opinions are good or bad, to be able to identify if you are seeing a noun, a verb, an adjective, and so forth and so on, and of course to identify key topics of interest such as name of people, location, places, time periods, and so forth and so on. All these steps involve a lot of different technologies which nowadays mostly rely on machine learning. But these usages are not the only one existing to date. As a search engine, you may be willing to provide your users with a voice search experience. So the user may be asking a question to a mobile device, for example, and you would have the responsibility to provide results to the search query entered using the voice. Voice recognition can also be used to actually transcript audio from video or from recordings, and this can be used when you are a website owner to provide automatic transcripts from videos. Actually, videos content is created at an incredible pace, and being able to write the content of every single session for example, Brighton SEO would take ages by a human. So no, all this is done using machines thanks to machine learning. Another step where machine learning is key is the ability for machine to translate one document from one language to another. And this can be true for search queries and for actual content too, because sometimes not all content is available in every single language. However, it might be of interest to provide the content to a wider audience. Another key area where understanding content is key is from images and videos. And now technology is able to turn an image into a textual description. And this, here again, will increase your SEO if you have the ability to automatically generate alternative description for your images in your website. This added to the ability to perform character recognition will provide your users with the ability to turn text shoot as a picture into real text compatible with search engines. So all this is interesting, of course, but we have a demo today, so I suggest that we deep dive into the demonstration, and we will now try to see how to solve content issues using data science. So first of all, a little disclaimer, as I know we all wish everything would be possible, but it's not actually the case to date. Not all problems can be solved. For example, even if text generation solutions are actually pretty much incredible to date, it often takes almost as much time to correct the text generated to make sure it matches your expectation as to use an actual content writer. So using artificial intelligence to solve content issues should actually be scoped to specific problems. For example, summarizing articles. Okay, you have already done the content redaction efforts, and you missed some time to have concise description for your content. You can use artificial intelligence to solve this. You have facts, but you have not time to write or to generate text spinning solutions that will provide poor results. You can actually now turn facts into stories using machine learning, so this is impressive. You also have the ability to rewrite existing content, of course, with the caution of rereading what has been rewritten by the machine, and see how it can help you eventually enhance your semantic coverage by turning new terms that your writer had not think of at the stage of writing. So actually identifying content issues on a website may be easy or may not be easy. It may depend on the CMS you are using. It may depend on the size of your website. It may depend on the number of authors that you are using or employing within your company. But thankfully nowadays solutions exist to identify content issues at scale, and this is actually a part of what we do here at OnCrawl. We help our customers identify content issues very easily and to build roadmaps to solve these issues. And we will now see how we can turn this solution into an analytic and understanding of the problematic to a healing system to correct your issues more easily. So of course we provide charts which are convenient for reporting, but when it's time to operate, you will want to have actually your hands on the data. And this needs the ability to compile a data set and into to-do list. And on-crawl Data Explorer is here to help. You have a very simple query language to use to find content issues. So here we are looking for pages with a missing description, while the pages are compliant for search engine. We can then export this into a CSV or JSON file, or simply query the data using API. So now what we want to do is actually where the magic is expected to happen. This is where we want to rely on GPT-3, which was brought to the market by OpenAI, and see how we will be able to turn this fantastic case study, which is an article we have on our public website, which is missing a description for search engine, and which provide a case study for our visitors and hopefully our leads to identify the value we can provide with on-crawl. But since this article is missing a description, we will try to fix it. Actually, so we see that we have already content which is available on the website, and when a human is reading these pages, everything seems okay. There is a title, there is content, so the machine should be able to write for us a description, and this is what we will not try to do. So we will do this using actually the playground from OpenAI, which is a convenient tool to quickly hack around and experiment with GPT-3 model and see how it can help. So basically here I have simply copied and pasted the main content of the page that we can see right here into the blue part of the screen right here. And then using the playground, I have simply asked the system to provide, okay, this is too long, I don't want to read that. What can you say? When you are building a prompt using GPT-3, you've got to think like you're talking to an assistant, to a friend or a colleague, and you want him or her to do something with you, to do something for you. This is something very important because actually the prompts from GPT-3 are so powerful that they can do so many things. So here the task is very simple. We just want the system to provide a TLDR. So actually with the preset, I have simply tuned the settings to have a short response because I don't want the description to be generated to be too long. I left the temperature at its default preset, and everything is default settings. And when you hit the enter button, this is what you come with in the red square. You've got something that is suggested by the machine using its understanding of the blue part and interpreting the orange squared prompt. Actually, this looks pretty much amazing, but it is actually reality. We've got to know that the authors of GPT-3, when they have discovered what they have been up to, thought that the technology was too dangerous for human beings and still decided to go public with the solution. So basically, this is it for an introduction to GPT-3. What I will give you now is some takeaways when working with GPT-3 and with the prompt. So here we have been focusing on the task of summarizing an existing text. This is one thing, but you've got to know that when the input text you provide is too long, the task will be expensive for the system. So focusing on a correct sized input is a good advice. Avoid using too long text, as it will simply degrade the performance, and the system is so intelligent that it will understand what the text is about in less than 1,500 tokens. Next, the prompt needs to be adapted to provide good results. So you may need to work with the prompt to really understand what you are doing. It's like when you are delegating some work to a colleague or an assistant, sometimes it's key to ask the question the correct way if you want the job to get done the way you expect to. Here I use the example of TLDR, but it's able to understand much more subtle prompts. For example, you may want to ask for a short and impactful title. And then, here again, I will invite you to play with this because this is really impressive. You can ask it to explain the article to a kid or things like that. This is really impressive. Here, writing a good prompt needs practicing. So feel free to do it. Next, using the settings allows you to fine-tune the prediction that will be made by the system, and you will want to give it a try to obtain the exact results that you are looking for. You will want to tune the length of the description if you are summarizing text. You will want to change the temperature if you want to have text that is generated that seems a bit more random, and you may play with other factors such as to give penalty in order to avoid repeating text from the input, or try to limit the use of new concept in the suggestion. Now that's a thing, but automating is another thing. And using OpenAI, you have a very convenient export code button, which gives you a direct Python code that can be used to integrate and play around with OpenAI API from an external source, such as a Google Colab, for example. Now that we've seen all this, we may be saying, okay, I have a tool to identify content issues on my website, good. I have found a solution to help me fix the missing parts for my SEO on my website, good. Now I want to build, I want to go fast, I want to do it at scale. This will need to integrate both solutions. So I've been talking about Google Colab beforehand. This can be something of interest. Another solution could be to integrate with that directly into your CMS. Also, validating the suggestion from OpenAI is a key step. I think that to date, it's not something that you would use to automatically fill in the blanks unless you don't care about what could end up in the actual meta description on your website. If you have writing principles, if you have rules on your website, editorial rules, you may want to have a double check of what was written by the machine. I like to think of this as, okay, I now have a hint and I avoid the white paper effect. So I have something to start with and I can complete it, I can rewrite a part of it, or I can simply take it along because it's good. So what would be the next step from this point? Actually, you could be willing to start a free trial with OnCrawl to identify if you have a content issue on your website and if you would be interested in giving it a try to fill in the blanks using OpenAI, in which case you would have, of course, to request an access to the beta if you want to experiment with GPT-3 on your own. And also something of interest would be to try giving a go to Google Cloud Vision AI API, which is a solution that can be used to turn images into text at scale too. Well, I think this is it for today. Thank you all for listening, and I wish you a very nice evening.